Okay, folks, so fans wanted me to do a video talking about Beyond the Gates Season 1, pretty much giving my thoughts on it. Now, keep in mind, this was 200 episodes. 200. So I can't sit back here and tell you every single thought or feeling I had towards the show. If you want that, go to my Beyond the Gates Season 1 playlist. You know why? I reviewed every single episode. Now, granted, the first, I want to say 30 or so episodes, you got to go over to my main channel, Our Kind of Entertainment, because initially I reviewed the soap there, but due to low views, I started reviewing the show here. So, yeah, go over to Our Kind of Entertainment if you want to get my thoughts on like the first 27 or 31 episodes, and then the rest of the episodes are over here. And yes, if you go to my main channel, there is a Beyond the Gates playlist. So the episodes are organized in order there. But I'll just say this. My first time actively watching a soap opera consistently and reviewing it in the style as I do the Tyler Perry shows on my main channel, I enjoyed it. Now, was it an easy ride from start to finish? No. Are there some things that I liked? Absolutely. Are there some things I disliked? Absolutely. Do I have my favorite characters? Darn right. Did I fall in love like 4 times this season? Heck yeah. But regardless, this just felt refreshing because it was something different. Have I reviewed non-Tyler Perry shows before? Yes, I have. But of course, no production company puts out content at the same rate as Tyler Perry Studios. So even when I venture outside of Tyler Perry stuff and review other content, it's more like a brief palate cleanser, maybe once or twice a year, because those shows only put out like maybe 15, 20 episodes a year, as compared to a Tyler Perry series that puts out maybe 60 or more, give or take. But Beyond the Gates, I just wanted to be a part of this historical soap because, it was something different. And I was hoping that the series would be a major hit to take my channel to the next level. Unfortunately, it didn't do that. But hey, you know what? It's been consistently successful on this one. It's been bringing in a few dollars each month. And as you know, I've been doing all the promoting I could to tell you all, hey, this month in February, if the numbers go up, if you show me you're interested in my content, I will continue to review the show from March onward, because it would be great to have this show do consistently well, because having another channel that brings in a decent amount of ad revenue per month, this could help things even out when, let's say, Sisters or House of Pain is off the air. Because yes, there will always be a Tyler Perry something for me to review on my main channel, but to have 2 strong channels bringing in extra money each month, I can't complain about that. But as I said before, season 1 was 200 episodes. It was a heck of a task in order to review each and every episode. Some weeks I can get my episode reviews out on time. Like the review would be up the same day as the episode. Other times, okay, I didn't make it the same day, but the episode review from episode 29 is up on my channel before episode 30 drops. Other times, I fell behind. One thing or another came up, whether it's my main channel becoming a priority, eBay stuff taking my attention, or sometimes I just felt tired, because this is not for the faint of heart. Now, if this was my only show I was reviewing, oh yeah, I could put more time into it. But considering that it's not, yeah, you can imagine. It's tough. And I wanted to do this like my other channel, where I would review each episode separately. There wouldn't be any combined recaps or reviews. Like, some people do that, and that is very smart. But I know for me, the fans expect, deep dives and breakdowns, and that's what you're going to get. But like I said, if you want that to continue, you got to watch and support the content. Now, like I said, this is an overview video, not necessarily a plot line play-by-play. I'm going to talk about some things that I wish they could have changed for season 1, some of my favorite characters, and that'll be about it. Maybe I'll be up here 20 minutes, maybe 30, who knows. I'll let the spirit lead me, because I ain't got no script. So, love the theme song. Dun, 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 dun. It's catchy. For my first soap, I was pretty impressed. I mean, like I said, I'm not a soap vet, and I'm going to keep saying this whenever relevant, thanks to the soap community. I mean, I remember when I first started reviewing it, there were people who loved the commentary, like, "Ooh, keep doing this. This is great. I love your voice. I love the way you break things down. It's amazing." And I love how forgiving some of you all are, because I will let you know in the comments, I mean, in my commentary, like, "Hey, well, this is episode 132, and I think this character said this in episode 49. So if I'm miscommunicating it or messing up with their quote, please let me know." Because listen, like I said, this is not my only show I review, and I'm going to forget some details. But from time to time, I might surprise you, because I think one of my favorite things is when an episode drops and I'm able to do like a 30 or 40-minute breakdown of it, because it is a very good episode. There are a lot of payoffs and callbacks to previous episodes that I can, call back to. And I feel like those are the easiest videos to record, because it just flows, because I feel rewarded for maintaining a hold on most of the memories of the show in my mind. So it feels great for a plot line to pay off, or a reference to actually come back into the writing. It's good stuff. Now, I think, though, some things should have been shifted. I really think that at the beginning of the show, they should not have rushed Bill and Haley getting married. If I remember correctly, they got married like on episode 5, right? It was Friday when Danny pulled out the gun at the wedding, and then the next week is where he picked up. I really wish we could have gotten more time of Haley trying to acclimate into the community, maybe even having second thoughts about getting married, but then opting to do it anyway. And Danny, that's the thing. I give this season grace. Trust and believe. I would put season 1 of Beyond and well, I mean, it was 200 episodes, so it's not exactly fair, but Beyond the Gates was a heck of a lot better than most of the Tyler Perry stuff I've been reviewing for the past 4 or 5 years. But they had big shoes to fill. The first new soap in a long time, especially one that's predominantly black. So I get it. They had to come out of the gate swinging. And you know what? Here's what I think. Given the day and age we live in of shorter attention spans and streaming and whatnot and trending topics in social media, I believe that if Beyond the Gate started like in early 2000s, give or take, they could have stretched things out a bit more, because we just live in a time now. Let's talk about like streaming shows, for example, like a Netflix show or whatever. They'll get like a shoestring budget for a season, a pilot season, sometimes maybe 4, half a dozen episodes if you're lucky. 10, let's just say about 6 episodes, half a dozen. They'll drop the first few episodes. And if those episodes do well, like numbers are up, it's a trending topic, then they're like, okay, we order more episodes. And then if you get greenlit for season 2, you can keep going. Typically, it's almost like we need to like fire all our rounds in one go, because people nowadays don't like slow moving stories. They want fast paced. And for me, I don't like that, but I understand that's the way it has to go. Like, for example, whenever they do a revival series or a reboot of a nostalgic show, within the first episode, they will throw in so many references just to go have people going, hey, I remember that. Or, they'll be able to make reels and whatnot. Like Fuller House, I remember when that show came, I only made it through 6 episodes. But when Fuller House hit Netflix, that first episode was just jam-packed with as many callbacks and references to the original Full House series as they could do in order to get people talking about it. I hate that, but I understand that's the way things are. And with Beyond the Gates, they had to come out of the gate swinging within that first week. And I really wish it didn't go that far. Like Danny with the gun and everything. Let us have a slow build up to that. But I get it. They had to do it. They had to start off with a bang, pun intended, to get people talking about the show. But the problem is, since it's a long running show, the show started off on a high, but there was a long time where it felt like we were down in the valley because things were going down. That's when I started noticing my videos weren't doing so hot. I mean, if I'm being honest here, I think that I've only gotten like 4 or 5 episode reviews that cracked 5, maybe 10,000 views. Everything else, it was consistently like maybe a couple thousand here or there, but not that great overall. And that's when I opted to move over to this channel. And the show really didn't pick up again until the anniversary party and whatnot. But then after that, it became like the Leslie and Eva show featuring the Duprees. And when I think about, other missteps of the show started off great, building up the Duprees as like this black, dynasty and whatnot. But then as the show went on, it became laughable, but not in a funny way, more like a bad way. When you build up these characters, this family to be so powerful and whatnot, yet they're being their power and influence is being diminished at every turn. Like Leslie being able to just waltz into these people's homes. I'm like, don't they have security? Getting the one up on the Duprees all the time. Getting away with the crimes of, she did against Laura. And then Eva going from, you'll never be a part of this family, to, you know what, she's not so bad after all. And then poor Kat, everything she endured was just so messed up this season. Rushed storylines like Chelsea and the abduction from Allison. And to me, the most angry I've ever gotten during an episode review. I think the episode, I don't think I ever gave a negative score, but I think I gave like a 2 to the episode where Naomi told her dad she was no longer representing those 3 women, so she wouldn't go against him in court. And I'm like, what? Because I remember that was the first storyline I was really excited to see, but we never saw it play out, and that ticked me off. So I was mad about that. Now, I've said this time and time again, I'm not someone who goes, oh, this actor sucks. That's not what I do. I mean, since I'm new to the soap world, I don't care about Tomas being stilted or wooden. I feel like he's just, he's playing the role the way he's supposed to. Rico Suave. Maybe not that suave, but hey. He's just a pretty boy that likes the arm candy that Kat provides, and he's going to use her for his career advancement. Same thing with Derek. Like, oh, he's so boring. But I'm like, when it comes to Ashley, it makes sense. Not every couple needs to be chaotic. You need some middle ground there. Now, I am aware, I've seen some TikToks, some people making points about like, the show came out and it felt like it was going in one direction, but then when CBS and, Trump and them got rid of like DEI and whatnot, it shifted because why do some of the white characters have better storylines than some of the black characters and whatnot and this, that. Hey, I mean, I can see both sides of that argument. I really can. Because in a lot of ways, I was more intrigued by the Vanessa Joey storyline than most of the storylines with, let's say, Naomi or, other, characters who share my complexion. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes like that. I just know that I personally enjoy the show. It's not perfect, but I'm willing to give season 1 grace because it's the pilot season. And season 2, I know when fans and their complaints became more and more vocal, I believe the creators of the show were talking about how, hey, we got a plan, just give us some time. So I'm thinking season 2, not immediately, but eventually, things will get better. My hope is that not only do things get better, but fans receive the show better, more fans come back, because there are other content creators I know who have stopped watching the show because they got fed up with like Leslie constantly getting W's, Kat being treated like trash by her whole family, and other complaints that are completely reasonable. Trust and believe, I wanted to quit around 1:45. I'm like, you know what? I might as well ride the train to the end of the station that is season 1, and whatever happens after that, I'll decide. But considering fans really want me to continue reviewing the show, I decided to give season 2 2 months. Like I said, January and February. And if the show's views and whatnot do well on the channel, I'll keep it running. But the other thing is Old Ted and new Ted. I miss old Ted, but new Ted, I like Keith. Great actor, nostalgia, Green Ranger from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and he's been in so many shows and movies over the years. Um, they play Ted differently, but I've always looked at it from the perspective of Ted post anniversary party. It's like the role had to be played different from the way he originally played it. You know? And see, like, let's say if a character like Caroline, the secretary at Bill's office, or I don't know, one of the doctors at the hospital. Nah, maybe not Doug. Nah, maybe not Doug. You know, someone like Caroline or Mona. Like, if they had a cast change, it wouldn't be as jarring as someone like Ted, because Ted was in a lot of episodes. Now, don't get me wrong. Mona's low key one of my favorite characters. Like, I think Shanice is my favorite, but Mona's in top 5. But yeah, if let's say we had a cast change for Mona, I don't think it would hit as hard as it did with Ted, because Ted was a more prominent character. But he grew on me. Yeah, I like it's like, when it comes to the Duprees, yeah, I think they were built up to be so powerful, but as time went on, it became just like, really? If they're really as powerful as they, were depicted to be early on, then why is this person getting away with this? Why don't they just take care of this issue? Why don't they just do... It's just so many questions that just don't make sense because of plot. It feels like as the show went on, a lot of the established lore, they kind of got rid of it in favor of, well, we need to forget about what we said in episode 27 in order for the events of episode 144 to actually work the way we want to. And this is coming from a person who remembers as much details as I can, so it really stinks. Hey, I used to watch a lot of shows, well, I still do, that involve like time travel and history and lore and whatnot. So it does irk me when I used to watch like the CW Arrowverse, and it ticked me off something fierce when shows like Legends of Tomorrow or The Flash dealing with time travel and things like that would have established set rules, but then they'd break those rules later on. It's like, how in the world does that make sense? Now, in terms of crushes, you all know Laura is bae. Ashley, yes. Naomi, I think, was the first one. I'm like, holy crap, I love her. But no, then her character got grating to my nerves, so no. So many beautiful characters. Kat, oh my gosh, her personality, not so much. All the women are beautiful. Dang, I can't front. But yeah, Laura is my favorite. Ashley, man, her wishy-washy persona bouncing back and forth between men is a turnoff, but hey. Naomi is headstrong, which is attractive, but I don't know. She just gets pissed off at the drop of a hat. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes a woman being agitated is hot. Other times it's like, okay, you're doing too much. Danny and Nicole remind me of Hilda and Zelda from Sabrina. I was watching that as a kid, but I always loved the aunts. I don't know why, but hey, they got that cougar energy. But yeah, Danny is something else. Haley, I love, I believe Marquita, her portrayal. I love it because I know her as Valerie from Zatima. She was in like 3 or 4 episodes. So to see her playing this role is a drastic change. So I love the way she switches it up from, dutiful wife to, hey, I'm a hustler. I'm in this for the game. I don't even need to say anything about Anita and Vernon. The acting from these legends speaks for itself. And I'll leave it at that. The chemistry between them, the way they eat scenes. I remember when the show first started, like, people were like, man, we need more Anita. We need more Vernon. They're barely in the show. And I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure as the season goes on, we'll get more from them. And I loved it. I mean, there's so much I could say, but hey, the Articulate storyline was great. I do wish they could have toned down Anita trying to make amends for Barbara when it's like, I think you've done enough, but I think they've moved past that now. Leslie, her actress, phenomenal. You can tell she is having a ball with the material, but in terms of the writing, they went from a fantastic soap villain to a morning cartoon villain, where it's like, okay, I wish that when she got the money, she became more subtle. That's my biggest thing. Like, have her still be a threat, but not be in your face about it. Because what's that saying? The rich move loudly, but the wealthy move in silence. You know, like her running up into people's faces, gloating, all that. That needed to stop as soon as she got that money. Basically, money talks. People listen. So all those times, like if the Duprees tried to, stop her from doing this or that, like one of the coldest things was when, even though it kind of debunks the whole, well, the Duprees were the ones who established a country club, so wouldn't you think their word is law? When they were trying to get Leslie's membership revoked, oh, I'm going to donate an extra wing to the country club. Things like that are stupid, but here's the thing. That would have been so smooth if Leslie wasn't up to her old antics. Like, let's say the Duprees decided, well, and he was like, you know what, I wish I could undo that trust and whatnot, but you know what, we'll slowly try to chip away at her. So for starters, get her membership revoked from the club. They try to do it, but it's like, oh, well, Miss Thomas actually was donating the money for an extra wing to the country club. So, yeah, slowly but surely, Leslie would try to, invade the Dupree territory. And that whole thing about buying the mansion across the street far above market price and then doing all this loud crap. No. Again, move in silence. Like, slowly chip away at the Duprees, their influence, and then that would have just been way better. Because they really undercut Leslie when you would have her do all these stupid antics and whatnot, but then try to inject humanity into her character. Like, going to Anita to ask about her mom and everything like that. That scene doesn't work for me because just like earlier in the same episode, you're talking smack to Nicole or something like that. Don't get me started on Eva. She's beautiful too. But it's the whole thing with everybody treating her like the victim. And it's like, no, that just sucks. It really sucks. Man, okay, who else? I mean, there are so many characters. Love Bill, a very layered character. Andre, I'm an Ashley and Andre shipper. I'm not ashamed to say it. Danny and Andre, hot and steamy at first, but I loved them better when they were there for comfort. Like Andre getting her off the bottle and things like that. Like, don't get me wrong, their scenes together, like that scene, my all-time favorite scene of season 1, when Andre came over, Danny was dancing. You got me in dun, 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 dun. I think the name of the song is Friend Zone. It was on my playlist for the longest time after that episode dropped. When Andre was at the window watching her dancing, and then she let him in and they started going at it. My favorite scene of the season. Second was when Leslie popped over to the Duprees and Martin went in on her. That was my second favorite scene. Yeah. Martin's storyline with the whole Kenneth thing, that was interesting. I got tired of those nightmares though with the sound. That just, he was definitely the most conflicting character. Like, for the longest time I hated him, but then I felt sorry for him. But then he, my bad side again. But either way, just like with Valerie from Zatima, he plays Malachi on Zatima, so that was cool. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there are other characters like June or Terrell and Samantha I could talk about, but I think I've been here long enough. So, the Joey stuff, he's one of my favorites as well. Sad to see Doug get killed off like that, though, but good stuff, good stuff. All right, well, folks, like I said, I could keep going, but I think by now you ought to get the gist of I enjoyed season 1. There are a lot of things I didn't talk about. You know what? If this video does all right, maybe you want me to do a part 2. It's like, hey, Jeremy, tell us more things you didn't like or things you like. Okay, maybe I'll do it. Okay, how about this? This video needs to get to 1,500 views. And it needs to get 150 likes, and then I'll do a part 2. Maybe. Who knows? But either way, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is why I wish we had like a 1-week hiatus between seasons, because I would have been able to do more videos, like character analysis, things like that. But, hey, it is what it is. I'll try to inject these in between episode reviews when I can. But thanks for the support. Let's enjoy season 2. Hopefully it improves in the areas I didn't care about in season 1. And I'll talk to you in the next video.